Assalamu alaikum, conscious entrepreneurs. Welcome to my 6-part series on building our economy. In tonight's episode, we'll discuss building trade partnerships. So be sure to like, subscribe, and tell a friend we're live, and hit that notification button, and I'll see you in a few short minutes. You're tuned in to the Mind of an Entrepreneur show with your host, myself, Sajdah, Wendy Muhammad. I am a multi-million-dollar business developer. I have developed business and real estate around the world, and I want to share with you my mental strategies, my technical strategies, and how I made it in the world of business. So I don't teach theory. I tell you about my life and introduce you to people who can also share with you what they've done to become successful. This is a practical show. This ain't a theory show. You don't want to miss it. So stay tuned.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
You belong to yourself. You're an independent people, created from the nation of free people. Yes, sir. You don't need to go nowhere but to yourself. Yes, sir. There will be a great separation. Yes, sir. So I said, it is on now.
The college is meant to prepare you for your future. That the time dictates that if we don't do something for ourselves as a people, we will be destroyed. And the aim of the enemy right now is to take us out.
We have God with us. We have Him as our guide. Yes, sir. We don't have to stand around here and ask the question, what must be done? Yes, sir. Get up and let's go and do something. Yes, sir. We cannot sit down. We cannot lay down. Yes, sir. We must get up. Yes, sir. And go to work.
Do you know what real joy is in life? Visioning something and bringing it into reality. That's real joy. Do you know what the next step in joy is? Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell in unity.
Tonight, you need to fasten your seatbelts. We're going to hear from some of the greatest minds in the world. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of trusting our future and the future of our children into the hands of those who don't love us. I believe we need to revitalize black leadership.
Happy New Year. Can we still say Happy New Year? I'm going to say it anyway. Happy New Year. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. Wishing you all peace and love this year. Welcome. So tonight we are talking about building our economy. This episode is entitled Trade Partnerships. And I'm your host, Sajdah Wendy Muhammad. I'm an international business and real estate professional. I'm an artist and business is my canvas. Again, like I said, welcome to the Mind of an Entrepreneur show. My mission from Allah is to help us to get in front of checks, solve some problems, take our lives to the next level, and help to discover and preserve our history, among other things. Spirituality and business and learning how to find your spirit in your business is so important to me. And I also love helping others to discover, own, and monetize their authenticity. So on this show, in case you don't know, I give you mental strategies that I've learned to help you navigate the world of business. I was inspired to do this series in particular while I was studying the region of Africa where my ancestors lived. Listen, I am a descendant of God. That's how I identify. I'm a woman, a Black woman, a queen, and I'm a descendant of God. And I'm clear about that. My people ruled and moved about the earth with a knowing that they were the owners of the earth. I come from Muslim roots. Being a Muslim is in my DNA. I am Fulani on both sides of my family. And the Fulani people at that time were very nomadic, smart people with respect for the earth and a connection to the universe. And if you know me, that's what I'm all about. They, like many tribes, were captured and enslaved. That's why they have a daughter over here in Chicago known as Sajdah Wendy Muhammad. So yes, like many of you, some of my ancestors here in America were slaves. They've survived the impossible and worked so hard and endured an insurmountable amount of pain. Peace to everyone in the chat. We're gonna dive right in today because I got a lot that I'm full of today. I believe I deserve the best because they went through the best. I believe you deserve the best because our ancestors went through the best. No, let me say it this way: the worst of the best. And what I mean by that is that it don't get no harder than what they've been through. They've been through enough. And so that makes us good enough. Just like I'm telling you that I give away free game on how to navigate the world of business because I've already bought and paid for this information with my blood, sweat, and tears. I believe the same is true for them. They have bought and paid for you and I to be successful. We are good enough. Put that in your psyche, put it in your vibrational crawl. You are good enough. We just have to accept our own and be ourselves. We have to know we're good enough. We have to accept ourselves and we have to be ourselves, just like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us. Our life is unique and we are very blessed. Let me get into this a little bit. This is an interesting tie-in. So, like I mentioned, my ancestry is that I am Fulani on both sides of my family. Fulani from New Guinea on my maternal side, and Fulani from northern Nigeria on my paternal side. On my maternal side of the family, my family name was Samiti. And the Samitis were from New Guinea, and they are what they would call today witch doctors. But they were healers and psychics who gave health and psychic guidance to the villages. And history says that the slave masters and the captors from France used to use the Samitis and often made them travel companions to help them when they were sick and to make strategic navigational decisions. The Samitis have specific, very divine navigational skills because they are nomadic people. And we got some of that in our family. My brother is a master navigator. So when I find myself being a world traveler, with healthcare being one of the primary industries that I've been able to be of excellent service in, I know that it had nothing to do with me, but everything to do with my legacy that they transferred to me through my DNA. And the same is true with you and I. We are already qualified for whatever it is we're trying to do. We just need to take the classes and become familiar with the vernacular and the nomenclature. We're good enough. So, like I said, I come from a long line of travelers and healers. I honor that and understand why I do certain things. I'm walking in purpose. The Fulani people are primarily, like I mentioned, a Muslim ethnic group scattered throughout many parts of Africa, mostly in West Africa, from Lake Chad in the east to the Atlantic coast in the west. And this is interesting. The Fulani code of conduct, known as Paleku, consists of qualities such as patience, self-control, discipline, prudence, modesty, respect for others and including their foes, wisdom, forethought, personal responsibility, hospitality, courage, and hard work. And when I read that code of conduct, I said, wow, those are a lot of my primary qualities and things that I strive for as a person. So I move with a knowing that I'm an answer to their prayers. I encourage you to move with a knowing that you are the ancestors to your ancestors' prayer, the answers to your ancestors' prayers. They prayed and worked and walked and traveled so that we can. They suffered. Why am I saying this? It's so that you understand why I have to respond to this inspiration to discuss building an economy that came to me as I studied my ancestors or regions where my ancestors lived and dwelled. That doesn't make me special, but it makes me especially me. And I want to share what came to me with you. So welcome to everyone in the chat. Let's see who's here tonight. Mom is here. Welcome, Mom. Happy Thursday. Sister Betty says, hello, my sisters and brothers. Brother Aunt D, Assalamu alaikum. That's probably Sister Karima. It's probably not Brother Anthony, but it could be Brother Anthony. I don't know. But I'm going to say it's Sister Karima. Sister Aletha, blessings, sis. Happy Thursday. Sister Sandra D, wa alaikum salam, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. She said, Assalamu alaikum, Sister Sajdah and family. Ready for some more today, Thursday night. Get right. All right. Regional Sky Girl, our home girl just landed. Wa alaikum salam, sis. All right. I see y'all in the chat. I see Nubia Latifa. She said, we are good enough. Amen, sister. We are good enough. All right. Let's get into it. Like many of you, I started out in business by myself. I went from what would be called a technician per se in the corporate space to an independent contractor, to then owning and running my own projects where I hired independent contractors, many former colleagues to assist as my staff. I made that escalation in relative silence. So people on the outside pocket watching probably just thought I had a little job with limited income, but I was evolving in silence. The movement of my ancestors was silently unfolding within me. And I was taking what I had learned as a student of Master Father Muhammad and just folding that into what I knew. And while the silence was comfortable, I figured out early on the importance of developing partnerships. Remember, my ancestors are communal, hospitable people who were nomadic and helped to establish many trade routes and spread their way of life. And I just feel the rattling of their calling inside of me. And it lines right up because after all, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had told us to pool our resources. It made so much sense to me. But I really wasn't sure how to do it in the corporate space that I was navigating in. And I didn't know how to convince Black people to pool resources with me just because I was Black too. I had knowledge of self, but in practice, things were playing out differently. See, when you sit at the table with some of the craftiest predators, you realize that there is the predator side and there's the other side. And being in alignment with my spirituality meant that I didn't want to be knowingly or indirectly on the side of the predators. I say knowingly because many times we work jobs or on projects and we don't have access to the executive suite, so we have no idea what predatory tone exists at the top. So we can only pray that we find ourselves on the right side. So I figured out early on how partnerships could help me to expand. I started out on the journey of looking for partners like many of you. I was looking in networking spaces where they said networking opportunities exist. I was going to conferences and networking events over and over and over again. But when I went down that networking rabbit hole, I realized that most people at networking events really are not interested in networking. They are not interested in collaborating on projects, pooling resources with you, capitalizing off of our strength in numbers. They generally tend to be more focused on selling their products and having photo ops than nation building. And that's okay too, do you. But I'm looking for someone who is like-minded. I'm looking for that group of people who are aligned with me so that we can align with this system, this nation building, this pooling our resources and becoming partners. See, some of us are more woke per se than others. Some of us just think we woke. Some of us like to hang the moniker of being Black, but hang out the moniker of being Black, but we're not about building a system or nation building. Some of us are practicing the same predatory behaviors of our former masters, but we think that we're pro-Black. We think just because we put Black people in a building, that makes it a Black business. But see, Black is a consciousness. Many of us are brainwashed, and we're now the brainwashers. Most of these people won't buy your program or put you in front of checks unless you write them a check. It's really more of a pay-to-play type of scenario, which is fine if you just say that that's what it is. And then we can decide whether or not we want to pay to play. But don't gaslight me. I've been around plenty of circles with white gatekeepers who play the pay-to-play game, but it's clear what the game is, and it's clear that they are gatekeepers. And so when people make it clear, you can decide whether or not you want to play. But I don't worry about that. It is what it is. If I go to these events, I'm looking for my people. I'm sifting, right, through the people, looking for the nation builders, looking for the conscious entrepreneurs who are interested in pooling resources, building an economy, and introducing much needed goods and services into our community. I don't let that deceptive energy overwhelm me. I know who I am, and I'm going to dig deep into living my life so authentically. So sometimes you got to kiss a few frogs on the networking front, per se, before you find your tribe. So you know me, I support people. So if I see someone working on something, I try to help, whether it's money, advice, or an introduction. I'm serious about that. I'm dedicated to being an asset to those around me and those that come in contact with me and those that listen to my podcast. So let's see. I see you just joined us, Sister Anitza. Walaikum salam, sis. All right. And with all of that, I had to figure out how to develop these partnerships that I needed in order to scale my business and expand my footprint. I soon realized that I really needed these trade partnerships in order to go beyond, because you can only do so much by yourself, right? I met some great people through networking, and we've done some amazing things together and built lifelong relationships. But focusing on trade partnerships made more sense to me. Even this podcast is my way of virtual networking. And I have met some amazing people and stumbled upon some really amazing opportunities just from doing this podcast. So I encourage us to just keep going. I realize that it takes a lot of time when you have to start over every time you hire a new vendor or a service provider. Kissing frogs is expensive, y'all. Why not look at the relationship like a partnership? Why not go into it with the understanding that we are building a partnership? So each time I need an architect, for example, I have a couple partners in that trade that I can tap into. Each time I need an IT person or an IT firm, I have a couple partners in that trade that I can tap for work. And the goal is that they would do the same for me. Getting people to reciprocate can be the most challenging. Many people in business are very insecure and one-track minded. But when you find someone who understands the power of making things happen for others, you really see the power of this concept. You got to understand that you got to deposit money in order to withdraw. It's just how the universe works. So in building my economy, I understood the importance of building trade relationships. All right. Y'all all right in the chat? Let me know if you have any questions. If I'm going too fast, I will slow down. But we're going to keep going. Okay. Any economy that is developed will generally have established trade partnerships that are pivotal to the industries and the businesses within that economy. So the economic-based definition of a trade partnership is this. Let me get it. A trading partner agreement is an agreement drawn upon by two parties that have agreed to trade certain items or information. The agreement outlines the terms of the trade or trading process, including responsibilities, who's involved, how goods or information will be delivered and received, and duties or fees, etc. Think of these as strategic partnerships, family. Not discriminatory, predatory, preferential treatment, but people who really partner with you and it's mutually beneficial. I learned from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan years ago that a negotiation is where both sides win something. Well, this is how I look at these strategic partnerships. Both sides benefit. According to a company called Profit.co, the partnership or a partnership is crucial to the growth of any business venture. Merchants and traders from time to time immemorial have made use of the principle of strategic partnership to conduct these businesses. The trend is still very much applicable today. A partnership manifests itself in different forms. You and I, in this circle of winners, are partners. Okay, you can have partners that are business owners cooperating to invest in a project, to share technical knowledge or ideas. Let me tell you something real quick before I go on. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I think in 2017, I was in South Africa and I was on a South African Shark Tank thing where people came and they pitched. And what I realized is that everybody was looking for somebody to just give them money. And they didn't understand the idea that you kind of got to start off with money or resources in order to go somewhere. So their idea of starting out with money or resources was to try to get it from somebody else. And I said, you know what? I said, the best thing for you all to do is to partner with one another. If you have somebody that has IT skills and you have marketing skills, you guys can cross-collateralize and help one another to make that money that you can then use to invest in yourself and then attract business. It's almost like back in the day when people used to go out and try to get record deals. And the record companies would say, how many have you sold? How many units, how many CDs have you sold? And you had to prove through a third party that you sold X number of units. So you either had to, show it with some other, you couldn't just say, let me give it this way. You couldn't just say, I sold 100,000 CDs. And they go, nah, let me see. So you had to have some evidence to show that. And then once they saw that you had a little buzz going and you were hot, and then later they started doing it with social media where what's your following like, where you kind of had to prove. Then people would come and invest. And so the idea is that you build the business up as much as you can. And then when you go out and solicit, you got a proof of concept. That's the idea. All right. It is great to form partnerships with other businesses. However, what any smart business owner must consider before signing on the dotted lines of a partnership agreement is that not all partnership agreements work out as planned. Gotta be ready for this. Some firms have generated massive problems for themselves by working with poorly aligned partners that fail to bring anything to the table. You shouldn't make the same mistake. So to avoid potential pitfalls, here are 3 factors, okay? 3 things you need to think about so that you don't get yourself misaligned with the wrong partner. Number 1 is trust and respect. Type that in the chat. Trust and respect. When you're building a partnership, the secret to the success of every partnership agreement is rooted in trust and respect between the partners. If you don't have trust and you don't have respect, you don't really have a partnership. You must be able to trust the decision-making, the temperament, the vision, and competence of your partner and vice versa. Make sure to respect one another's abilities and personalities. Zig Ziglar said that if people like you, they will listen to you. But if they trust you, they will do business with you. Here's number 2, brand alignment. You must make sure that your brands are aligned before you form a partnership, or else you're going to get yourself into hot water. What does brand alignment mean? Okay, there must be some common elements. So before you start a partnership, know exactly what each business does and how your brand aligns. Form an alliance which has a way of setting goals and simultaneously propagating the objectives of each business. For instance, the demand for products of a company A should be able to spark a chain reaction to drive up the demand for products of company B, and vice versa. You might unite around a social cause. You might unite around a location or a neighborhood cause, but you got to have something that the two of you hook into that makes you aligned. And then from there, you begin to find the synergies. Here's the third one. You should have similar values and shared goals. And I alluded to that a little bit. It's important to form a partnership agreement with a firm whose corporate goals and values augment your own. There are firms whose main focus is to make a profit and maximize shareholder wealth. And then there are others that are more concerned about corporate social responsibility, and they put profit making as a secondary objective. You need to know this. Partnering with a business that doesn't share primary objectives may lead to a clash of values and risk driving a wedge between the firms. Don't ruin a good relationship with a bad partnership. Okay? While partnerships have their difficulties, businesses can gain infinitely, I'll say it this way. Businesses can gain infinitely more when they choose to partake in strategic partnerships. These are the ones I like, where we're very strategic. A lot of businesses have leveraged on the distinct advantages that come with partnership to grow their businesses and take it to a higher level. No matter how successful your business is, the right partnership can take it to even greater heights. You can go from a hobby to a money-making business with the right partners. Great things in business are never done by one person. They are done by a team. That's Steve Jobs. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan have offered guidance on pooling our resources and going into business with one another. All right. Yes, trust and respect. Yeah, put those in the chat. Now, let's go into this. What are the benefits of strategic partnerships and why are they so important? Number one, what is the benefit of strategic partnerships and why are they so important? Number one is access to knowledge and a competitive advantage. Put that in the chat. Access to knowledge and a competitive advantage. So your company needs a wealth of knowledge, and that knowledge comes in bounty with strategic partnership agreements. This gives you the opportunity to grow and learn from another's perspective. Okay. All of the knowledge would be put into use to further build your brand and business in the future. And having access to information that you don't have can escalate your progress. It can help you avoid pitfalls and increase your strength. How many of you have ever had a person give you information that if they had not told you, you would have walked right into a landmine? Let me know in the chat. How many of you have ever had someone to introduce you to someone that was a key player that put you in the right place and time and changed the trajectory of your career or made things easier to you? Let me know in the chat. I have had people that I wanted to partner with steal my ideas and strategize behind my back. But I've also had people who barely knew me that introduced me to the right people and mentioned my name in rooms where I wasn't even present. I've had people to shed light on a plan I had that changed the trajectory of a project and even my career. I could talk for the next hour about people who have poured into my career. So strategic partnerships can give you access to knowledge that you didn't have. And it's so easy for us to talk about the haters and the people who stole from us and the people who wronged us. But let's not focus there. Let's focus on the people who mentioned us in rooms that we weren't in, the people who shed light on our idea to people that we didn't know, the people who made introductions for us and helped put us in front of the right situation. Let's focus on those people because those people are the ones that we want to strategically align ourselves. After all, we oftentimes don't know what we don't know. And the worst place to be is to think that you know everything and you don't. And your competition can clearly spot your knowledge gaps that you don't even know exist. It's better to be open to learn from others than to be stupidly arrogant, pretending like you are at a level that you are not even close to. And not even know that you ain't on that level. That's real bad. Here's the second one. What are these advantages? It can enhance your business credibility and image. We can be so amateur about this in our community. Sometimes we name drop and pretend like we know people of influence. When we meet a person of influence, it used to be that people wanted their autograph, right? But today they also want a photo so they can post it. What is the purpose of posting photos with people, especially people of influence? It's just that, influence. It's a way of increasing our influence over others. Some of us are liars and will go as far as to imply or say that we are doing business with these people. For others, you don't even have to say anything. All you have to do is post a picture with a person of influence, and it can add a premium to your image in today's society. The right business partnerships will enhance the ethos of your firm. And when firms that share the same goals and visions join forces, the influence and strength of each organization can grow dramatically. Stronger business provide better products and deliver more qualitative services to customers, which boosts our overall brand equity. So it's not enough to just post those influential pictures. We got to really be about it. We got to be about those partnerships. It's not enough to go to these networking events and pretend like we're there to network when we're really just there to make a buck. We got to really be about the business of networking. And I'm going to tell you this, when you're networking, if you got people there who ain't really running businesses and ain't built no businesses, I'm not saying that you throw them away, but you keep all of that in perspective. And understand that alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. That's from Helen Keller. Here's the third advantage. The third advantage of developing a partnership is that it can increase your customer base. A lot of times that's what we do it for. We just go, I just want access to his or her customers, but it can increase your customer base. Through a functional strategic partnership agreement, your business would grow its customer base. There are a lot of ways through which this can be attained. And it could be through a direct agreement you have with a firm that offers products that are complementary to yours, like a car manufacturer who forms a partnership agreement with a tire manufacturer, right? They may have an agreement in place that makes everyone who orders for a new car to get their tires from the firm that they're in agreement with, and vice versa. You get it? Let me know in the chat if you get that. This alone would help you in growing your customer base as customers are drawn to great products and services. It's important that you look for those types of relationship opportunities. I'll tell you something that's important to me. I believe in creating experiences. Whether you interact with me on a coaching business, whether I am your consultant, whether I'm helping you to develop a business, I want it to be an experience. I believe that people will invest in an experience. If I own a spa, when I've had spas, it's an experience. So that's important to me. So people that I do business with have to understand the importance of creating experiences. Number 4, here's the other reason why it's good to do partnerships. Long-term stability. Long-term stability. Let's put that in the chat. Long-term stability. Your goal and my goal should always be to focus on the ongoing concern of your business. How do we build institutions that outlive us and last for generations? Let me ask that question again. How do we build institutions that outlive us and last for generations? How did J.P. Morgan start businesses in the early 1900s that exist in some form or another today? J.P. Morgan died in a hotel room in 1913, I think it was, at the age of 75. His legacy could have died with him. We have no guarantee that people we leave behind, including our children, will have interest, the grit, and the tenacity to continue our legacy. We don't know that. We hope. So how do we create long-term stability? One thing for sure, you cannot assume that our youth will carry on our tradition. Some of them might, but we can look back through the annals of time and think about how many Black inventors that we don't even know, because in many cases, the family didn't continue to promote what it was that was important to them. History shows us that. But J.P. Morgan, Cornelius Vanderbilt, John D. Rockefeller, and these other robber barons used their personal power and reputation to encourage the formations of trusts and endowments and mergers and partnerships within industries that they felt were a threat to their competition. Their partnerships outweighed and outlasted in their actual wealth. They formed syndicates and endowments, like I said, and used their collective influence to impact the world. How many of the companies still exist? Like General Electric, U.S. Steel, International Harvester, and many businesses started under the umbrella of their organization long after their death. So you take somebody like J.P. Morgan, and in many cases, a lot of times the children may not carry on, but then the grandchildren may pick up the mantle, or the great-great-grandchildren may pick up the torch. Well, how did the institution maintain itself so that it skip a generation and the great-grandchildren has something to tap into? This man, like I said, died in the early 1900s, but we still got Chase Bank. We got Morgan Stanley that I think was started by one of his grandchildren. How did that happen? And how do these institutions maintain themselves? We can't say, and this is the bad rap that we put on Black people. We say, well, it's because white people continue on their family legacies. Not all the time. Sometimes you'll have a whole generation where all they did was just party and squander the money. And then one of their children will pick up and go, I think I want to do what grandpa did. So we got to talk about this. We got to have these think tanks. These are the kind of things at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad I want to be able to be free to do. We want to have think tanks where we think about how do we keep this legacy going? How do we maintain this for generations to come? It's not enough to just say, oh, the children are going to do it. The children are going to do it. Some of them may, and some of them may not. How do we make sure that they have an infrastructure and a foundation to stand on for generations to come? Okay. And remember, we're talking about doing good business and being good entrepreneurs, conscious entrepreneurs. Now, the predatory business practices of these individuals we mentioned previously have landed them in a lake of fire, per se. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan can be quoted in his February 27, 2011 Savior's Day address at the Allstate Arena in Rosemont, Illinois, as saying, "This man, Master Fard Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad said of him that he came to us from the holy city of Mecca in Arabia. He was born February 26, 1877. He knew his future. When he was 6 years old, he saw himself pushing the DuPonts, the Rockefellers, and the House of Rothschild into a lake of fire when he matured. This teaching has always fascinated me. I can't wait to have a think tank around this. What does this mean? How? Has he already completed that aspect of the mission? What happens afterwards? So for me, the inspiration from my Fulani ancestors lines up with the teachings given to us by Almighty God Allah, the great Mahdi, the great Messiah, as given to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as we know him today. They're giving us the blueprint on how to navigate the fall of this economic system that was built on the backs of slaves. We have to begin to think strategically so that we can build a sustainable system that those who come behind us can tap into. The system must be so strong that even if our children reject it, it can still be there if our grandchildren decide to pick up the mantle. So long-term stability is our goal. And it can't just be us hoping that the next generation will pick up the torch. Our system has to be more sustainable, more durable than their desire to be a part of this movement. We have to build the system. We have no way of guaranteeing that they will continue what we've rebuilt, sustained, and started. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us to study the white man. He makes no excuses for his failures. We should study the sustainability of their institutions, how they were built and structured to outlast generations. And what we do is we study the good and we're going to throw out the bad. We're not talking about creating slaves. We're not talking about Jim Crow. We're not talking about putting folks in jail. We're talking about taking the good and studying it, pulling that out, and then adding to it, or adding it to what we've been given by our ancestors, by our supreme wisdom. So that even if our children don't follow our mission, perhaps their children will see it. And we must have something in place that they can tap into 3 or 4 generations from now. We have to be forward thinking, global thinkers. We must be right and exact, right down to the modern times. Miss Iwana, welcome, sis. Assalamu alaikum. She said, I think the term is called shirt sleeve to shirt sleeve, when one generation produced wealth and 2 generations later, they're poor again. Yeah, that's what we want to avoid. And so we want to design our institutions so that we're not dealing with that. Forward thinkers and global thinkers. That's exactly right. Okay. Sandra D says the term long-term stability. That was one of the benefits of building partnerships. So this is important. This is one of the reasons why it's important to me. Many of you, I may not even know you, and I'll say, hey, I'll give you a call, or I'll email you, or I'll direct message you and say, hey, how can I support? Can I bring you on the show to help promote your business? Can I talk to you? And I'll try to talk to you to help you have courage, especially if I see that you're going through something. It's all about stepping up and doing something for someone, even when they didn't ask you to do something. These are the types of nation building processes that we have to put in place. And in the meantime, we have to begin to deeply study how to build these sustainable institutions so that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 generations from now, they can plug into it no matter what the day and time looks like it. We want our great grandchildren getting checks from what we're doing today. And we can do it if we study and we figure out how to put it together. The information is available out there. We're in the information age. This is the greatest time to be living in terms of access to information. To the point, I know we're in information overload, but it's out there and we can do it. We can definitely do it. I think sometimes we put so much stress on our children because we really want them to get it. We want them to get it. And a lot of times they just walk away and go, I don't get it. I don't want to do it. I don't even like you. But then sometimes they come back to it later after we're dead and gone. They may come back to it and go, you know what? I kind of want to tap into that. Well, we don't want it to be a situation where it's too late for them to tap into it. We're gone and we die with the information inside of us. What do we want? What we want is for them to be able to have a way to tap in. We want to give them that grace and that mercy. So if they go through a period of rebellion where maybe they go over to the other side and don't understand what they're doing, and then they wake up one day and go, oh my gosh, what am I doing? My auntie was doing this. My great aunt was doing that. My uncle, my grandmother, let me tap into that. We want them to have the grace and mercy and the ability and access to tap into something that will continue to sustain them. All right, y'all. Any questions, comments? I hope this concept on partnerships makes sense. Let me tell you, I don't know yet what we're going to talk about on Coffee Talks. I'll set the show up later. Let's see. Next week, here we go. In our series, we talked about market expansion already. We talked tonight about trade partnerships. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please give me some feedback in the chat. I know y'all thinking. Number 3, we're going to talk next week about, well, let me tell you about next week. But the next episode is protection for traders. That should be interesting. Business is warfare. You got to have security. You got to have protection for your traders. So we're going to talk about that. We may break it up with a guest next week. I know these are heavy topics, so we may break it up. I have a guest in mind, and I'll reach out to her to see if she still wants to come on next week. And if she does, we'll break up the series a little bit, and then we'll come back, inshallah, the following week with protection for traders. But stay close to social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, TikTok, and I'll put the announcement out there about what we're doing and what's next and how we are doing it. All right. Y'all quiet in the chat today. I must have gave y'all some stuff to talk about, huh? Sister Anissa said, thank you for introducing me to strategic trade partnerships. Thanks for my homework assignment. All right. Praise be to Allah, Sister Anissa. Sister Anissa is one of our Sajdah House experience reps. I just got off a call with the team that is putting together the Nation of Islam historic exhibit in Detroit for Savior's Day. I cannot wait for you all to see what we had planned. It is going to be, inshallah, an amazing way. You know, history is the best teacher, according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It is best qualified to reward its researcher. And I think you guys are going to be really exciting. We're taking it to another level with more information. Sajdah House is going to be there this year. We're going to have our commemorative Elijah coins. If you're an experienced rep, I know Sister Dawn's not here today. Sister Dawn's already volunteered to assist with the exhibit. Let me know. You all know how to reach me. Text me. Email me if you're interested in being on our volunteer schedule. It's going to be Friday and Saturday, and then we'll do something after the lecture. But especially the Friday and Saturday, inshallah, we're very busy. The goal is to sell out of our commemorative Elijah coin to get some sponsorships. We trying to get open in 2024. Y'all know this is the victory year, and we are ready. And it's going to happen. All right, family. Thank you. Sister Betty says, awesome teaching. Thank you, Sister Betty. I really appreciate you. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your referrals and your recommendations. And I honor you and I send you good energy. And I pray that each and every one of you are successful in your business endeavors, that if you have a problem, that you're able to go inside of yourself and find the peace that you need to allow the solution to the problem to evolve, right? And I just send you good energy. If you're sitting here now saying, look, my business is hurting, it needs money, I pray that you get the money you need. If you say, hey, I need more staff, I pray that you have the staff that you need. But most importantly, I pray that you are aligned with Almighty God Allah, and that you are about the business and you're committed to doing business in a conscious, mature way that is in submission to the will of Allah. Let's not be predators out here. Let's not take those old business models and just try to drop Black people in as if we're just dark-skinned white people. Let's not become predators just because we've seen them do business like that. People are out here looking for somebody people who want to do things the right way, who want to be fair. And whether they're Black or white, be fair, be honest, be upright, be upstanding. And I know it's hard. Sometimes you run out of money. Sometimes you run out of resources, but do the best you can to keep your heart as pure as you possibly can. And when you do get the resources and you do get back on your feet, go back and pay it back to the people who helped you or who were there for you or who maybe you couldn't meet your obligation to. Try to do everything you can to ensure that your word is bond. We'll talk more about this. All right, family, make sure you support the completion of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House Museum. If you like this content that I'm sharing with you, I ask that you support the movement. Make sure you like and subscribe and share with a friend. Give. When you're in need, make sure you give. The Cash App is scrolling across the bottom. You can do Cash App, Sajdah Enterprises. What I want you to do, I don't care if it's $5, $10, $50, $20, $100. I want you to get in the habit of giving when you receive something good. Don't be a taker. Don't take information. Don't take from people and then, hover it like it's a football and you got to go somewhere and get over the goal line. No. We give. We're open as conscious entrepreneurs. Somebody gives us good information, we give them good information. We give them money. I had a young lady today that helped me, and I pulled her to the side and I gave her $10. I said, you know what? I saw she was pregnant and she was still having to work, and she was talking to me and she was just telling me how tired she was. And I said, you know what, sis? She was a Hispanic sister. I said, let me give you $10. It ain't much, but maybe it'll buy you some dinner, buy you a snack, just make you feel better. Because what I want you to do is walk away knowing that your efforts didn't go unnoticed. And so that was my way of paying it forward to her. I didn't want her to pour into me, which is what she did. I didn't want her to pour into me and go all out helping me and then walk away. And she was still struggling with her back hurting because she was expecting and all of that. And I can't stop your back from hurting, but here's a couple dollars just to let you know that I see you and I appreciate you. All praises due to Allah. All right. Thank you all. Peace and blessings, family. I love you all. Pay it forward, pay it forward, pay it forward. And I'll see you, inshallah, Saturday for the Sajdah Saturday morning coffee talks, where we talk about life, love, and business. Peace and blessings.
And I'm saying this to all of us. Our people are ready to spend their money with their own. There's no time better than this for 6 or 8 of you to pool your money and look in the community and open up a store to fulfill the needs of our people, and we will support you. It's your time now. That's being a man. Supporting your own people that are in business. Going into business yourself. Think out of the box. What can you create that will put black people to work?
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who in my judgment is the master historian, taught us that of all our studies, history is the most attractive, and it is best qualified to reward the researcher. History is most attractive. Why should history be most attractive? Because history is the recorded time of the human family in its struggle to overcome obstacles. There is no life that is without struggle. The Holy Quran teaches us that man, meaning man and woman, is made to face difficulties. And after difficulty comes ease. But it is history that guides us through difficulty. For if you know how people who had difficulty yesterday got through, and if your difficulty is somewhat similar, then today we also can get through if we follow the guidance of history. This is why Carter G. Woodson and many of our black giants fought for black people to know our history. Because in not knowing our history, we don't have a guide. And without a guide, we are lost. No wonder the